What's up YouTube, this is iTweaks here, and today Apple released a brand new iPad, and I was really eager to get my hands on this device, and Apple even believed that it was such an innovation that they decided to give it a brand new name. They dubbed it the iPad Air. And today I'm going to be giving you guys an unboxing and overview of the iPad Air. So you can see here there's really nothing new about the box. We can see we have what we always have with new Apple products. We have the name on the side and the Apple logo on each of the ends. Obviously right there on top we have a picture of the iPad Air in all its glory. So if I go ahead and flip this box over and I focus in on this right here, you'll notice that I got the space gray 16GB Wi-Fi model. Now I usually don't store too much on my iPads. I just use them for Netflix and browsing most of the time. So I don't really need a whole lot of storage on my iPads. So let me go ahead and grab my knife and we'll break into this bad boy. Always try to be as neat as possible when cutting off this cellophane. That way I don't accidentally scratch the box or anything like that. Alright, so we're just going to pull this off and we'll set this aside so we can get on to the main event. So let's just take the lid off of this. And there is the iPad Air. So I'll just go ahead and grab this tab and lift it right out of the box. Take a quick look at that, but we're going to put that aside and we're going to get to the other contents of the box before we actually take a look at the new iPad. So you can see here that we always get this little package right here of just some literature. It usually has just a little bit of licensing information as well as a little card here that's going to tell you, yeah, there it is right there, the diagram of the iPad, and gives you all the buttons and what they do, all that good stuff. And if we flip it over, here is the actual piece of paper with all the licensing information and everything like that. And of course we have the infamous Apple stickers. So nothing really out of the ordinary there, but let's go ahead and put that aside and see what else we have here in the box. So if I just lift on this tab, it's going to reveal the 12-watt USB power adapter. So same thing that we got with our last iPad, nothing really out of the ordinary there either. And of course we have the lightning cable. We've seen this before with our iPhone 5, 5S, 5C, iPod 5th generation, and even the previous iPad 4. So let's go ahead and put that back and let's actually take a look at the iPad Air. Alright, so here is the iPad Air, still wrapped in its plastic. So let's go ahead and pull on this little tab here, and that is a satisfying sound, isn't it? Alright, so let's slide it out of the plastic here so we can get a better look at it. We'll put this plastic aside, and there is the iPad Air. So you'll notice that it has a different look than its predecessor. The iPad Air looks very much like a larger iPad mini with its rounded edges, its sleek metallic finish, as well as its chamfered edges. And I can tell you that holding this in one hand is much more comfortable than holding the previous 9.7-inch screen iPad. The iPad Air only weighs in at 1 pound, which is 0.4 pounds or 28% lighter than its predecessor. So before we get into the specifics, let's go ahead and take a quick look around the new iPad Air. So you can see here that we have the exact same home button that we had on the iPad 4, as well as all other previous generation iPads. And if we look at the side here, you can see the new chamfered edges. And I mean, even running your finger over that edge, you can barely even feel that there's a lip. I mean, you're definitely not going to be able to tell if you're just regularly using your iPad. And if we move over here, we have the aluminum volume rockers right here, as well as that mute switch. And nothing really changing there. You have the same 5-megapixel camera that you had on the previous iPad 4. And looking up here, you have your power button, as well as your headphone jack right there. And you also have these two new mics, and I'll talk about that in just a second, but there's a mic on the back of the iPad as well as right there on the top like you normally would see. And if we move down here, you're going to see your lightning cable connection as well as your stereo speakers. And it's kind of hard to tell without the screen on, but if I turn the screen on, you can really tell the difference between the size of these side borders. Now, I don't have an iPad 4, but I do have an iPad 3, and they have the exact same dimensions, so I'm going to be doing some comparison shots of the iPad Air against the iPad 3 in this unboxing. Now, if we talk about the size and dimensions, the iPad Air is 7.5 millimeters thick, making it 20% thinner and have 24% less volume than the iPad 4. Yet it still has that beautiful 9.7 inch Retina display with a 2048 by 1536 resolution at 264 pixels per inch. Now, you also get the A7 and M7 chips, which is the same chips that shipped in the iPhone 5S. The A7 has a 64-bit architecture and is supposedly twice as fast as the A6X chip in the iPad 4. Obviously, the M7 motion coprocessor collects data from the gyroscope, accelerometer, and compass, and is independent of the CPU, so it can request motion-related data without draining the battery or exhausting the CPU. It also is sporting 1 GB of RAM. Now, looking at the camera, you actually get the same 5 megapixel camera that you got on the iPad 4, but it has updated the FaceTime camera. It also comes with a 1.2 megapixel camera just like the iPhone 5S, which features the next gen backlight sensor with larger pixels so you can have better quality FaceTime calls. And on the back here is something a little different. It's a second microphone, and Apple says that the two microphones work together to capture better sound by suppressing audio from the source you're not focused on. Another cool thing about the iPad Air is it comes with a smaller capacity battery at only 32.4 watt hours, but offers the same battery life thanks to the improved display technology and efficient A7 chip. Now, this means you have up to 10 hours on the web on Wi-Fi, and if you have an LTE version and you're on cellular network, then that number drops down to 9 hours of battery life. So my first impressions of the new iPad Air is actually really good. I mean, I really like the feel of it. It feels really good when just holding it with one hand. Everything's opening up really quick like it should. I didn't really expect anything less. One thing I did notice is the difference in the actual front panel on the iPad Air. It's plastic instead of glass. So I mean, that is definitely a difference that you can tell once you mess with this iPad a little bit, but it's actually a really nice device. Let me know in the comments below if you guys plan on getting an iPad Air and what color, what size, what's your specs. Also, what do you guys think about the iPad Air if you're not getting one? Let me know in the comments below. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more of my videos, then go ahead and subscribe. Also, don't forget to like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter for updates. And if you haven't checked out my gaming channel, go over there and stop by and say hey. Alright guys, until next time. Peace.